All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? How y'all doing? I greet you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the part of the world. I greet you especially. Yes, you're on to VuVu Football, and yes, we're going to talk about the FIFA 2026 World Cup. That's what we're talking about because that's the tournament right now. The tournament is catching everywhere right now. People are enjoying. People are going doing a lot of things. A lot of surprises, my brother. A lot of surprises happening this period. So I'm here to bring you down to let you know what's going on, especially from the group stage. Yes. A lot of things happened in the group stage. Yes, once upon a time we had the vision and the dream that yes, the World Cup was coming, it was going to happen, right? And yes, we had different groups. We have a lot of groups. Now let me walk you down the group stage. Let me walk you down what happened in the groups. Group A. Mm-hmm. Yes. Group A, we had Mexico. Yes. We had South Africa. Yes, that's we have South Korea and we had Czechia. Yes. Interesting group. But now let me tell you what happened. The first match went the way people wanted it or the way people did not want it because some persons wanted to win. But you know what I mean? Football is a game of either you win, you draw, or you lose. So that's how it is. Either you get the 3 points or you get 1 point or you get nada. So that's how it is. Well, from Group A, yes, Mexico qualified as the group leaders with 9 points. They played 3 matches. They won the 3 matches. They scored 6 goals and they conceded nada. That's a good one for the host nation. Don't forget, this a tournament is hosted by Mexico, Canada, and the United States of America. So Mexico, host nation, qualified 100 over 100, my friend, my dear. That's good. That's good. So the second qualifier, South Africa. Yes, they qualified as number two. Yes, kudos to them. I need to clap for them. Yes, they represented the continent Africa and they did a good job. They played 3 matches. They won one, they lost one, and they drew one. Then what happened with the returns? Yes, they scored 2 goals and they conceded 3 goals, including the one they lost against the host nation, Mexico. So they had a -1 and they had 4 points. That's for South Africa. Now the next one is South Korea. Yes, what happened to South Korea? Let me tell you. South Korea played 3 matches. They won one and they lost two. Yes. They lost against Mexico. They lost against South Africa, but they won against Czechia. So that means that brought them to a -1 and a 3 point. Now what happened to Czechia on the other hand? Czechia, oh my beloved Czechia. They played 3 matches, they lost two, and what happened? They drew one. That took them to just 1 point. And don't forget, they scored 2 goals and they conceded six. That's at 1 point with a -4 GD. That also happened in Group A. So with that, Mexico qualified, South Africa qualified. That left South Africa confused in a state of dilemma. Why? Because they needed to know their fate in order to know if they will qualify as a best loser or part of the best losers. So because that's a new category in this year's 2026 FIFA World Cup. Do you understand? That's a good one by FIFA. So now let's move over to Group B. Now drum roll. Group B. Group B had Switzerland, another host nation, Canada, Bosnia, and Qatar. Now let me tell you what happened. Switzerland topped the group, yes. They topped the group. They played 3 matches, they won two, and they drew one. They had 7 points. They scored 7 goals, they conceded three, and they had a +4 GD. So that's a good one from Switzerland. So they topped the group. Now the next was Canada. Canada were so lucky because their first match against Bosnia, they drew that first match. The second match, okay. And they needed the intervention of God. If not, they wouldn't have qualified, So they played three matches. They won one, drew one, and lost the other. They scored 8 goals, conceded three, so they had a plus 5 GD, and they had 4 points. Now, note this: the plus 5 GD they had made them qualify as second because Bosnia had same points. Now, let me tell you how. Bosnia played three matches, won one, drew one, and lost the other. They scored 5 goals and conceded 6 goals. That's a -1 already. And they had 4 points. Now, if you see Canada on 4 points, Bosnia on 4 points, but the goal difference is is the goal, yeah. So Canada qualified as second and Bosnia third. This brings us to Qatar. Qatar played three matches. They drew one and they lost two. They scored just 2 goals and they conceded 10 goals and they had a -8 GD with 1 point. Yes, they are home already. They are home already. So now Switzerland qualified, Canada qualified. Now Bosnia had 4 points with a -1. Don't forget, South Korea had 3 points with a -1. So they're waiting. They're waiting for their fate. They don't know if they qualified as part of the best losers or not. Which takes us to Group C. In Group C, we had Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. Yes, Brazil topped the group. But this topping came with a prize because Morocco gave them a run for their money. Trust me. But I mean, Brazil is Brazil. So Brazil played three matches, won two, and drew one. They scored 7 goals, conceded one, and that's a +6. And they had 7 points. The one goal they conceded, don't forget, you should know, Morocco scored that goal. So, but that's a 7 point with a +6 GD. That makes them the top, the leaders of that group. Then the next was Morocco. Morocco played three matches, won two, drew one. That's Morocco for you. Yes, they represented Africa. Yes. So at the end of the day, they scored 6 goals, they conceded three, and they had a +3, which is 7 points. Very close. So Scotland, the third person in the group. Yes, Scotland, the third person. Scotland played three matches. They won one and they lost two. They lost to Brazil and they lost to Morocco. But they had a lifeline, which was Haiti. And the goal and the plan was to beat Haiti close to 6-0 or 4 or 5 or 8. But lo and behold, they couldn't. Whew. They scored just one and they conceded 4. That took them to a -3 with a 3 points. Now, don't forget, their hope still hanging. They are hoping and praying and waiting. Okay. And 80 played three matches. They drew, nada. They won, nada. And they lost the three. They conceded they scored 2 goals and they conceded 8 goals. That took them to a -6 with a 0 points. So 80, better luck next time. Now let's talk about Group D. Yes, Group D had another host nation, United States of America, the USA. They had Australia, they had Paraguay, and they had a Turkey. You can call it Turkey. They had Turkey. Okay, so USA qualified as the group leaders with 6 points. Yes, they played three, they won two, and they lost to one. Guess who they lost that one to? You know already. So they scored 8 goals. They conceded 4. We give them a +4 GD with a 6 point. Remember, they won 2 already. So now let's talk about Australia because Australia qualified as the second position. They took the second spot. They played 3 matches. They won one, they lost one, and they drew one. That took them to 4 points. They scored 2 goals and they conceded 2 goals with zero balance, owing nobody. So that's a zero and a 4 point. That's a good one. Then Paraguay. Paraguay came so close because they played 3 games, they won one, they drew one, and lost one. Remember, same as Australia. But this is where it got a little bit dicey. Remember, Australia scored 2 goals and conceded 2 goals. But on the other side, Paraguay scored 2 goals and conceded 4 goals. That's a -2 already. Yes, that's a -2 already. So at the end of the day, Paraguay had -2, 4 points, and Australia had zero with a 4 point. So Paraguay qualified in the third place. But for now, I told you anybody that qualified in third place, anybody that had third in their group, will have to wait and settle to know at the end of the group stage to know if they qualify through the best loser route. That's how they wait. Yes, they have to wait. They have to wait. Now, Turkey or Turkey, as you call it, yes, they came with all hopes, but trust me, they played 3 games, they won one, they lost two. They scored 3 goals, they conceded five, which is -2 with the 3 points. So, I mean, they took fourth. I mean, if you come out third, then there's hope for you to compete. But when you come out fourth in your group, you're as good as gone. You just go home. Now let's talk about Group E. Yes, Group E had Germany, you had Cote d'Ivoire from Africa, you had Ecuador, and you have Curacao, a debutant. Now let me tell you that Germany topped the group. Yes, they topped the group. They played 3 matches, they won 2, and they lost 1. They scored 10 goals and they conceded 4 goals, which is +6 with a 6 point. That's a good one. They tried, which is number 1. While the number 2 is Cote d'Ivoire from Africa. They played 3 matches, they won 2, and they lost 1. They scored 4 goals, they conceded 2 goals, which is a +2 with a 6 point. That's a good one for them. So now, this one takes us to number 3, Ecuador. Ecuador played 3 games, won one, drew one, and lost the other. Scored 2 goals and conceded 2 goals. That's a 0. That's a pass mark. And they had 4 points. Yes, that's a brilliant one. They had 4 points and they made sure they balanced the goals. So not owing anybody anything, just there. So yes, they have hopes of qualifying through the best losers route. So that is that for that as far as that is concerned. Now let me talk about Curacao. Yes, the debutant that caused trouble. Yes, Curacao. Shout out to Curacao. They tried. They tried. They did a good job. So Curacao, 3 matches played. They drew one of the games, and yes, they lost 2. They scored 1 goal. They conceded 9, and they had a -8 with a 1 point. Better luck next time, Curacao. I mean, this is the first time, so they'll get enough experience to come back next time. Now let's go to Group F. Group F had Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. Netherlands topped the group. They played 3 games, won 2, and drew 1. They scored 10 goals and they conceded 4, which is a +6 with a 7 points. Now let's talk about Japan. Japan played 3 games, they won 1, they lost 2. Scored 7 goals, conceded 3. That's a +4 with a 5 points. That's a good one. That's second. Now let's talk about Sweden, who came so close to going home. But they're lucky though. So Sweden, yes, they played 3 games, they won 1, they lost 1, they drew the other. So they scored 7 goals and they conceded 7 goals, which is a 0 and a +4. That's a good one. So there's hope that Sweden might qualify as part of the best losers. So let's wait for that. Then the fourth team is Tunisia from Africa. Tunisia, oh my God. Tunisia played 3 games, won nada, drew nada, and lost the 3 games. They scored 2 goals and they conceded 12 goals. That's a -10 with a 0 point. That's a very poor outing. But I mean, it is what it is. It's the World Cup. It's the World Cup. Now let's talk about Group G. Group G, we had Belgium, we had Egypt, we had Iran, we have New Zealand. Yes, Belgium topped the group. All thanks to God. Yes, it was a very difficult group. Like that group was kind of difficult because Belgium was not serious. Egypt was still not serious. Iran was difficult. And New Zealand, my dear. New Zealand, oh my God. So now, Belgium topped the group. Now, let me tell you, this is how beautiful it is. Belgium topped the group. They played 3 games. They won one and they drew two. They lost nothing. They scored 6 goals and conceded 2 goals. That's a +4 with a 5 points. Now let's talk about Egypt on the other hand. Egypt played 3 games, they won one and they drew two. They scored 5 goals and they conceded 3 goals. That's a +2 with a 5 point. Now you see +4 +2. That's the difference. That's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. Okay, now Iran on the other hand, Iran, yes, the third Iran, yes, they played 3 games. They drew 3. They did not win any and they did not lose any. They were a thorn in people's flesh. They got 3 points. They scored 3 goals. They conceded 3 goals. They had a 0 with a 3 point. So, I mean, that was near perfect. They tried. Not easy though. And New Zealand came fourth in the group. They played 3 games. They drew one and they lost two. They scored 4 goals. They conceded 10. That's a -6 with a 1 point. I mean, that's nothing. So, I mean, now this takes us to Group H. Group H had Spain, Cabo Verde from Africa, Uruguay, and Saudi Arabia. Spain topped the group as expected, but this time around with 7 points because Cabo Verde were determined to never give up, to frustrate anybody. So Spain got 7 points. They played 3, they won 2, and they drew 1. They scored 5 goals and conceded nothing. Perfect record. Like in terms of not conceding goals, though. Perfect. Conceded nothing. So they had a +5 with a 7 points. Cabo Verde, on the other hand, played 3 games and drew the 3. Yes, they did not lose to anybody. They drew the 3 matches. Right? They scored 2 goals and they conceded 2 goals. Now, a 0 with a +3. That's a good one. Now let's talk about Uruguay. Yes, Uruguay played 3, drew 2, and lost 1. They scored 3 goals, they conceded 4. That's a -1 with 2 points. And Saudi Arabia played 3 games, they drew 2, they lost 1. They scored 1, they conceded 5. That's a -4. And with a 2 points. So, I mean, is there hope for Uruguay? I will tell you that. I will let you know what we're talking about. The best losers. Now let's move to Group I. Group I had France, Norway, Senegal, and Iraq. And this group was tagged the group of death because they had France, Norway, they have Senegal from Africa, and Iraq. Now let me tell you what happened. France played 3, won the 3, scored 10 goals, conceded just 2, had a +8 and a 9 point. Norway, on the other hand, played 3, won 2, and lost 1. Scored 8, conceded 7, a +1 with a 6 points. Senegal, on the other hand, they made a statement win. That was what saved them. They made a statement win. They won. They played 3, they won 1 and lost 2. That one win against Iraq changed the story. They scored 8 goals, they conceded 6. That's a +2 with a 3 points. Iraq, on the other hand, played 3 games, lost all 3, scored 1, and conceded 12 because of Senegal. I mean, the 5-0. I mean, they conceded 12 goals, that's a minus 11 with a 0 point. I mean, Iraq, better luck next time. Now let me take you all to Group J. Group J had Argentina, Austria, Algeria, and Jordan. Argentina, as usual. Yes, Argentina played three. They won all three. All thanks to legendary Messi, who broke history, made history, rewrote, rewrite, rewritten history. I mean, it's Messi we're talking about here. Messi, Messi, Messi. So Argentina played three, won three, scored 8 goals, conceded one. That's a +7 with a 9 points. Austria played three, won one, lost one, drew one. Scored six, conceded six, a 0 with a 4 points. That's Algeria, on the other hand, played three, won one, drew one, and lost one. Scored 5 goals, conceded seven. That's a -2 with a 4 points. Is there hope? Don't worry, we'll talk about that later. Jordan, on the other hand, that's the giveaway in the group. Like they were there to help people. If you needed the point, they were there to help you. They'll make sure they help you. So Jordan, on the other hand, they played 3 games, they lost all three. They scored 3 goals and they conceded 8. That's a -5 with a 0 point. So Jordan, thank you for coming. Now let's go to Group K. Group K had Colombia, Portugal, DR Congo, and Uzbekistan. Yes, Colombia topped the group with 7 points. How did it happen? They played three, they won two, they drew one. The one they drew was against a Cristiano Ronaldo led Portugal. Mhm. They scored 4 goals, they conceded one. That's a +3 with a 7 points. Portugal, on the other hand, played three, won one against Uzbekistan, drew two against DR Congo and Colombia, scored 6 goals, conceded one. That's a +5 with a 5 points. Now, DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, or you can call them Dr. Congo from Africa. They played 3 games, won one, drew one, and lost the other. Yes, they made a statement win against Uzbekistan. If not, problem. But yes, I mean, they scored 4 goals and they conceded 3 goals with a +1 with a 4 points. Now, Uzbekistan, on the other hand, played three, and I mean, they're like Jordan, they're there to help. Lost all three, scored 2 goals, conceded 11. That's a -9 with a 0. Oh my God. So, Colombia, Portugal over to the next round, but DR Congo will wait and see if they qualified as or amongst the best losers. Now, which takes us to Group L, which is the last group. England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Now, England topped the group. They played 3 games, won two, drew one, lost nada. They scored 6 goals, conceded two, a +4 with a 7 points. Croatia, on the other hand, played three, won two, lost one. They scored 5 goals, they conceded 5 goals, a +0 with a 6 point. That's good. And Ghana, on the other hand, yes, they made a statement win. They had to win. They really, really had to win. So shout out to Ghana. They played 3 matches, won one, drew one, lost the other. And they scored 2 goals, considered 2 goals, and a +0, 0 with a 4 points. Will they qualify among the best losers? I will let you know. Now, Panama, on the other hand, they played three, and they are like Uzbekistan and Jordan. They are givers. Yes, they played three, they lost all three. Considered, they didn't score any goals, actually. They didn't score any. They considered 4 goals. That's a -4 with it. So, yes. So from the group stage, Mexico qualified, South Africa qualified, Switzerland qualified, Canada qualified from Group B, Brazil, Morocco qualified from Group C, USA, Australia qualified from Group D, Group E, Germany and Cote d'Ivoire qualified from Group E, Netherlands and Japan qualified from Group F, Group G, Belgium and Egypt qualified, Group H, Spain and Cabo Verde qualified. Group I, France and Norway qualified. Group J, Argentina and Austria qualified. Group K, Colombia and Portugal qualified. And Group L, Egypt and Croatia qualified. Now, this is where it gets interesting because for the very first time, we're going to be having what they call best losers category. So now, who are those that will qualify as best losers? Now, according to the table, because they had best losers table. According to the table. Now, let me let you know how it is. Ghana qualified as a best loser because they had 4 points. Yes. DR Congo qualified because they had 4 points with a +1. Algeria qualified because they had 4 points. Senegal qualified because they had 3 points with a +2. Uruguay, they did not qualify because they had 2 points. Iran, mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Sweden qualified because they had a 4 point. Ecuador qualified too because they had a 4 point. Paraguay, they had a 4 point. Scotland, they had a -3 with a 3 point, so they did not qualify. Bosnia qualified because they had a 4 point. South Korea, on the other hand, they wanted to sneak their way in. They wanted to, but they had a -1 with a 3 point, so they could not qualify. Because one of the prerequisites for qualifying as the best loser is first thing first, the number of points you have. After the amount of points you have, if you tally with the person, then they will go to the goals. That's your GD, right? Goals scored and goals conceded. Then when you subtract, you get the answer. Do you understand? So if you score 5 goals, and you conceded 3 goals, that's 5 - 3. That's 2. Then you have a +2 with the point. So if you have a 4 point with a +2, you qualify. If you have a 4 point, if you have a 3 point with a +2, I think there's a chance. But when you have a minus, oof, no chance. So this brought us to South Africa versus Canada, Netherlands versus Morocco, Germany, Paraguay, France, Sweden, Belgium, Senegal, USA, Bosnia, Spain, Austria, Portugal, Croatia, Brazil versus Japan, Cote d'Ivoire versus Norway, Mexico versus Ecuador, England versus Democratic Republic of Congo, Switzerland versus Algeria, Colombia versus Ghana, Australia, Egypt, and Argentina versus Cabo Verde. This is just a breakdown from the group stage, and those are qualified as the best losers, right? So, the next video we're going to talk about the round of 32. I hope you enjoyed the video, though. But please like, follow, and follow, bros. Is it like and follow? YouTube. I hope you loved the video, though. Please subscribe for more and hit the notification bell so you can anytime, any day. Thank you. VuVu Football.